Grandstand Bettors here with 32 NFL season previews in 32 days. We are on day number 27 and we continue to look at the NFC North with the Minnesota Vikings today. As always, guys, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our team previews and all of our season-long NFL free picks. And go ahead and smash that like button. We are just a couple weeks away from the start of the NFL season. Such a great time of the year. Now, before we get into our Viking season preview, just a reminder, us here at Grandstand Bettors, we're giving away $1,000. That's right, $1,000 to one of you, our subscribers, in our NFL betting contest this year over at grandstandbettors.com. The link is below in the description. Head on over to Grandstand Bettors, get signed up for our free NFL contest, and make sure you start living that grandstand life. While you're over there, become part of our family and let us do the work while you do the winning. But without further ado, let's get into the Minnesota Vikings season preview. To do so, let's take a quick look back at their 2020 season. The Vikings are another team last year that had a very disappointing season. They finished third in the NFC North with a 7-9 record, and that really hit the under, which was set at 9.5. They had a very good offense that had a breakout year from running back Dalvin Cook, a very good rookie season from wide receiver Justin Jefferson, and steady numbers across the board for an always reliable Kirk Cousins. Now, they actually ranked 4th in yards per game last season and 11th in points per game, and you would think that would translate into more than 7 wins. But what really did them in last year was their defense. They gave up 393 yards and 29.7 points a game, which was 5th and 4th worst in the league, respectively. Now, their front seven and secondary both need work if they're going to get a few more wins this season and try to make the playoffs. The Vikings have a very good foundation for their offense, and we don't see them going anywhere as long as they keep those key core guys on their offense like Cook and Cousins and Jefferson. If they can keep them in line and have a good defense, they might have a chance to get into the playoffs and make a sort of maybe a deep run, but they do have to clean up that defense ASAP. That is exactly what the Vikings actually did in free agency. One of the few times in the preseason that we're actually talking about a team that went out and really got a lot of what they needed. They signed cornerbacks Patrick Peterson from the Cardinals, Bashaud Breeland from the Chiefs, defensive lineman Sheldon Richardson from my Browns, Dalvin Tomlinson from the Giants, defensive edge Stephen Weatherly from the Panthers, linebacker Nick Vigil from the Chargers, and safety Xavier Woods from the Cowboys. I know that was a lot, but we really wanted to showcase all the work that they actually did in free agency. All these guys have good experience in the league and should be starters in week number 1. Now, this should help their defense tremendously, but the only problem we can see with this is 7 of the 11 of their starters on defense are being put on the same team for the first time this year. So definitely expect some miscommunication and frustration early on in the season, but eventually this unit should be able to get things rolling and put way better numbers up than they did last year, although it's going to be much more difficult to get even worse. So offensively, the Vikings were able to get D.D. Westbrook from the Jags, which adds another wideout in the mix with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. But they did lose tight end Kyle Rudolph, who went to the Giants. They're going to look to Irv Smith this year to fill this spot after a solid season last year with limited reps behind Rudolph. Now, the Vikings also lost a couple offensive linemen, tackle Riley Reif to the Bengals and center Brent Jones to the Broncos. The Vikings had a solid O-line last season, so these losses definitely do not help anything, but they will be looking to second-year man Urza Cleveland to step up in the season and their first-round draft pick to protect Cousins again and provide good blocking for Dalvin Cook. Let's get into their draft picks. As we briefly just mentioned, the Vikings selected offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech University with their first-round draft pick. It's going to be interesting to see if he beats out Rashad Hill for the starting spot. Even if he doesn't, if any one of their tackles goes down, this guy is going to step in for that injury. With their next pick, which wasn't actually till the 3rd round, the Vikings selected quarterback Kellen Mond out of Texas A&M. This pick was really confusing when we saw it come out. The only sense that we can make out of it is they think the time with Kirk Cousins is coming to an end, so they're looking to their future with this pick, but use a 3rd round on this guy? Unless this guy surprises anybody, we do not see the point of that pick. With their other 9 draft picks, they selected 5 defensive players, a guard, running back, tight end, and wide receiver. Most of the defensive players that were picked was just to get a look at as they went into free agency and got most of their defense from that standpoint. Their mid-3rd round pick draft, Shaz Seward out of North Carolina. He's going to be a guy that might be able to see the field this season, but everybody else, probably not so much. If we get into their schedule this year, the Vikings, like all the other NFC North opponents, have a very tough schedule. Their divisional games are not a breeze either. We have them going 2-4 in these games, splitting with the Bears and the Lions and losing both games to the Packers. I mean, realistically, they could split all the games or maybe beat the Lions twice, so at best, they're going to be 3-3 after the divisional games. The rest of their NFC opponents are the 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, Cowboys, and Panthers. We have them beating the Panthers and winning maybe in a shootout against Seattle, but losing the rest of those games, giving them a 5-7 record with really 5 games left to talk about on their schedule. And those 5 games are where the hard schedule comes in. That's the AFC North and a game in LA when they take on the Chargers in Week 10. We can see them beating the Bengals and Steelers, but they're going to have a hard time getting a win against the Browns, the Ravens, or the Chargers, given how good those offenses are on both those teams, or all those teams. That would give them 7 wins, maybe 8. Now, they're over set at 9 right now, and they'd have to beat the Lions twice for sure, which we could see happening. One of the 3 AFC teams we just mentioned, which would result maybe in a push. And then either the 49ers, Rams, or Cardinals. Given the schedule and defensive reorganization they went through, we have a hard time really putting faith in this team to hit the over 9. We have this line really at like 8, 8.5. So the Vikings fans, we're going to take our best bet for your team this year at under 9. What do you guys think your team's going to do this season? Put your comments in the comment section below. Let us know. Are the Vikings going to go over 9? Are they going to be at 9? Are you sold on Kirk Cousins? Do you think this guy out of Texas A&M is going to do anything with the team? Let us know. But for us here at Grandstand Bettors, that does it for our Vikings season preview. Join us tomorrow as we finish off the NFC North and deep dive into the Chicago Bears season preview. As always, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the preseason, and we'll see you tomorrow.